Most people believe they control their own minds. But Earl Nightingale said the opposite. He spent decades studying human behavior, success patterns, and the mechanics of thought itself. And what he discovered changed everything we thought we knew about mental control. Nightingale observed something disturbing. He noticed that the average person walks through life on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, making the same decisions, and getting the same results, year after year. And they never question why. They believe they're in control, but they're not. Nightingale put it bluntly. An untrained mind makes you a slave to your own habits. Think about that for a second. A slave, not to external forces, not to circumstances, but to your own thoughts. Today you're going to discover the invisible habit that determines your income, your routine, your future, and even your personality. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy. This is the operating system of your mind. And by the end of this video, you'll realize something profound. Either you command your mind, or it will command your entire life. Take a deep breath. Let's begin. Imagine waking up tomorrow without remembering who you are. No name, no past, no preferences, no identity. The only thing that remains is a whirlwind of automatic thoughts. Thoughts that seem to come from nowhere. Thoughts you didn't consciously choose. Thoughts that just appear and demand your attention. This is the state in which 95% of people live every single day. Earl Nightingale called this automatic mental mode. It's when your mind runs on inherited thoughts. Thoughts from childhood, from your parents, from school, from society, from the environment around you, from television, from social media, from casual conversations you had years ago that you don't even remember. And you believe these thoughts are yours. You believe you chose them. You believe they represent who you really are. But Earl Nightingale said something that shakes this illusion to its core. The thought you don't choose governs you. Let that sink in. The thought you don't choose governs you. Most people have never consciously chosen a single thought in their entire lives. They've simply accepted the mental programming that was installed in them. And they wonder why they feel stuck. They wonder why they can't break free. They wonder why their lives look exactly like the lives of the people they grew up around. It's because they're running someone else's mental software. And until you recognize this, you'll never be free. According to Nightingale, there is one single mental habit that defines whether you are the commander or the victim of your mind. And it's not meditation. It's not affirmations. It's not positive thinking. It's something far more fundamental. It's the ability to observe your own thinking. Simple, powerful. Almost nobody does it. Most people react. Few people observe. Most people repeat. Few people question. Most people live by triggers. Few people live by decision. Nightingale said, "The first step to mental freedom is to see your thought before you follow it." This is the game changer. When you can see a thought, you create distance between you and that thought. And in that distance, you find power. You find choice. You find freedom. But when you can't see your thoughts when they just happen to you, you're at their mercy. Every negative thought pulls you down. Every anxious thought spirals you into worry. Every limiting thought keeps you small. And you have no defense, because you don't even realize it's happening. The forgotten habit is this: conscious observation of thought. It sounds simple, but it's the difference between living as a reactor and living as a creator, between being controlled and being in control, between mental slavery and mental sovereignty. Earl Nightingale taught a question that changes everything. One simple question that acts like a mental filter. A question that separates useful thoughts from destructive ones. A question that gives you back the steering wheel of your own consciousness. Here it is. Does this thought take me where I want to go? That's it. 5 seconds. One question. Infinite power. When a thought appears, and you ask this question, something remarkable happens. You activate your conscious mind. You stop being a passive receiver. You become an active selector. And if the answer is no, if that thought does not take you where you want to go, you have 2 options. Option 1, replace the thought. Choose a different thought. Consciously direct your mind toward something that serves you. Option 2, ignore the thought. Let it pass. Don't feed it. Don't engage with it. Don't give it energy. Both options create power. Because when you stop feeding random thoughts, you start creating directed thoughts. And that's when your life begins to change. Most people never ask this question. They just think whatever appears in their mind, and then they wonder why they feel anxious, why they feel stuck, why they feel powerless. It's because they're giving mental energy to thoughts that don't serve them, thoughts that take them in the opposite direction of their goals, thoughts that sabotage their own success. But when you filter your thoughts, when you consciously choose which thoughts to follow and which to ignore, you take back control. And control is everything. Earl Nightingale said that every mind has a weak point, a vulnerability that keeps most people trapped. And that vulnerability is distraction. The mind is designed to jump, to wander, to react, to chase shiny objects, to follow every notification, every sound, every interruption. And in that constant jumping, you lose yourself. You lose focus, you lose direction, you lose control. But there's a way to combat this. Nightingale developed what he called the 30-second technique. It's devastatingly simple, and it works. Here's how it works. Step 1. Stop whatever you're doing. Just stop. Step 2. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Step 3. Don't try to empty your mind. Step 4. Just observe. Step 5. Don't fight anything. Step 6. Just watch the flow. That's it. 30 seconds. But in those 30 seconds, something profound happens. You step outside the stream of thought. You become the observer. And when you observe, you are no longer the thought. You are the consciousness behind it. This distinction is everything. Because the thought has no power over the observer. The thought is just a passing wave, and the observer is the ocean. When you practice this technique, even just once a day, you train your mind to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You have thoughts, but you are not them. And that realization transforms you from hostage to commander. Earl Nightingale anticipated much of what we discussed today in neuroscience and attention psychology. Decades before brain imaging and cognitive research, he understood something fundamental about how the mind works. He said, "Thoughts are frequencies. You receive what you transmit. Think of your mind as a broadcasting station. Every thought you think sends out a signal, and that signal attracts matching experiences, people, and opportunities. Anxious people transmit anxiety and attract chaos. Disciplined people transmit clarity and attract opportunity. Grateful people transmit abundance and attract prosperity." This isn't metaphor, this isn't mysticism, this is mental mechanics. Your thoughts create your emotional state. Your emotional state creates your behavior. Your behavior creates your results. And your results reinforce your thoughts. It's a loop. And most people are stuck in a negative loop. They think negative thoughts. They feel negative emotions. They take negative actions. They get negative results. And those results confirm their negative thoughts. The loop continues. But here's the breakthrough. You can reverse the loop. By changing your thoughts, you change the frequency you transmit. And when you change the frequency, you change what you attract. This is why Nightingale said, "You become what you think about." Not eventually, not theoretically, actually, literally, mechanically. Your thoughts shape your reality. And if you don't control your thoughts, your reality will control you. Earl Nightingale proposed a simple ritual for anyone who wants to take control of their own mind. He called it the 5-minute mental direction routine. Every single day for just 5 minutes, you ask yourself 4 questions. Question 1. What am I thinking right now? This brings awareness. You can't change what you're not aware of. Question 2. Does this bring me closer to my goal? This brings evaluation. Not all thoughts are equal. Some serve you, some sabotage you. Question 3. Is this thought mine or is it inherited? This brings discernment. Most of your thoughts aren't even yours. They're borrowed, adopted, absorbed. Question 4. Am I reacting or deciding? This brings sovereignty. Reactors are controlled. Deciders are in control. These 4 questions take 5 minutes, but they do something powerful. They reprogram you to think with intention. And when your thoughts have intention, your life begins to have direction. Most people never think about their thinking. They just think. And because they just think, they just live. No direction, no purpose, no control. But when you dedicate 5 minutes a day to mental direction, you plant seeds of conscious choice. And those seeds grow into habits. And those habits grow into character. and that character shapes your destiny. 5 minutes. 4 questions. Total transformation. T. There comes a moment when the habit becomes automatic, and then you notice something. You don't fall into cycles of anxiety as easily anymore. You don't react to small provocations anymore. You don't sink into negative thoughts as frequently anymore. You start to think before you feel. You decide before you react. You observe before you engage. This is control. This is power. This is mental autonomy. And Earl Nightingale said, "When you control your mind, you control your income, your destiny, and your future." This isn't exaggeration. Think about it. Your income is determined by the value you create, and the value you create is determined by your actions, and your actions are determined by your decisions, and your decisions are determined by your thoughts. Control your thoughts, and you control the entire chain. Most people try to change their results without changing their thoughts. They want more money without changing their mindset. They want better relationships without changing their patterns. They want a different life without becoming a different person. It doesn't work that way. The external is always a reflection of the internal, and the internal is governed by thought. When you take control of your thought, you take control of everything downstream from it. Your emotions, your behaviors, your habits, your results, your life. This is the turning point, when you realize that everything begins in the mind. And if you want to change your life, you must first change your mind. In the end, there are only 2 categories of people: those who are controlled by their mind, and those who control their own mind. The difference? The first group lives by accident. The second group lives by intention. The first group reacts to life. The second group creates life. The first group is shaped by circumstances. The second group shapes circumstances. The first group blames. The second group builds. The first group repeats the past. The second group designs the future. Earl Nightingale dedicated his entire life to teaching this principle. He studied thousands of successful people. He interviewed leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, and thinkers. And he found one common thread. They all controlled their minds. They all thought with intention. They all directed their mental energy toward their goals. And because of that, they achieved extraordinary results. But here's the most important part. They weren't special. They weren't gifted. They weren't lucky. They simply learned the skill that most people never learn. The skill of mental control. And you can learn it too. Starting today. Starting right now. You don't need special tools. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need years of training. You just need awareness. You just need intention. You just need the willingness to observe your own thinking and choose consciously. That's it. That's the entire game. Observe. Choose. Direct. Repeat. Do this every day, and your life will never be the same. Earl Nightingale left us with one of the most powerful statements ever made about the human mind. You become what you think about. So think about what you want to become. Read that again. You become what you think about. So think about what you want to become. This is the ultimate mental law, the ultimate truth, the ultimate power, and it's available to everyone, not just the smart, not just the wealthy, not just the privileged, everyone, because everyone has a mind, and everyone can choose what to do with it. The question is, will you? Will you take control? Will you observe your thoughts? Will you filter your mental input? Will you direct your consciousness toward what you actually want? Or will you continue to live on autopilot, running inherited programs, repeating the same patterns and getting the same results? The control is yours. The choice is yours. The power is yours, if you want it. Thank you for watching.